Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer and welcome to your daily silver stacking video. Thank you for tuning in. First things first, ladies and gentlemen, I post daily videos every single day giving you the newest, latest, freshest, most up-to-date recent information in the world of precious metals. Whether it's silver stacking strategies, whether it's something in the economy, whether it's the FOMC meeting, whether it's interest rates, whether it's the dollar index, supply and demand, all of it. I'm going to cover it on a day-to-day basis. You will never miss a thing. So when I say subscribe, it's not for my sake, it's for your own. I'm also doing a massive 50,000 subscriber giveaway that you do not want to miss. Trust me. Trust me on that. Now, this video is going to be directed more towards the decision making of Joe Biden, but I do not want this to be a political video. This is not a political channel. This is a precious metals channel. This is an investing channel, but we are going to be going over the decisions he's making and how that affects the price of silver. I don't care if you're left, right, up, down, front, center, sideways. I do not care. I don't want to hear that in the comments. That is not the place for this. We are investors. We are passionate about precious metals, and we are going to see where the future of silver is headed from the person that is making the decisions. So on that note, I found a very interesting to say the least article. And what caught my attention first was this part right here. Precious metals under previous presidencies. So they go over, Obama, all these different presidents and what the precious metals market did. And I think that can give us some insight. Now, obviously, whether candidate A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, or K would have won the election, they had to throw out that $1 trillion stimulus word. So regardless, whoever was going to get elected was going to be put in a hot seat and like a dog backed into a corner. We knew that we do not have enough money to throw out trillions of dollars, but we had no choice. What are we going to tell the people? Can't get the stimulus. Sorry that you're out of your job. Sorry, can't pay rent. We don't have the money to give out. No, we're not just going to say, oh, actually, America's broke. We're just not going to give you the money. No, they had to regardless. So on that end, I get it. But when it's the excessive spending, that is where things can get dangerous. Now, I'm not saying that I don't agree or disagree. I'm just saying that that's a fact. He's excessively spending money, and that is having an effect. So let's dive into this. Because moving forward, and the craziest part is when we're speaking about precious metals, specifically silver, and its time is coming, the stars have aligned, the perfect storm is here, that's not really going to start happening for the next couple years. Yes, supply and demand factors are already pushing premiums way above spot price. Yes, spot price is detached from the physical ounce. Spot price is $24, but you can't buy a physical ounce of silver for anything less than $31, $32, $33 if you get lucky. But that's not where it stops. This is actually before it's even getting started. We haven't even seen the reality of this happening yet. The electric vehicles, the solar panels, that stuff really ramps up and will be in full effect in 2022, 2023. That's when the demand really won't be able to, or the supply really won't be able to meet the demand. That's when we're really going to start to see where silver is going to shine, pun intended. So anyways, a link to this article will be in the description. Like I said, make sure you subscribe, like this video, leave a comment down below, help the algorithm gods from YouTube push this and promote this video. When you like the video, when you comment, it really does help. So anyways, America has the world's largest economy, and the U.S. presidential elections play an integral role in shaping its future for the next 4 years. In fact, election outcomes affect the global economy in general. So, consequently, this event becomes a significant determinant for the global financial market growth consisting of metals market. And I would say metals market has a very different, more sinister perspective on things because let's admit it. Silver stackers are in a weird position. Our investments do good when things are going bad. So it's almost like we want to root for things to fall apart because then our investment is in the green. But at the same time, our morals is like we don't want the economy to go to crap. But then if it, because if it recovers, then it's just a weird situation to be in. Honestly, it is. But regardless of morals, set your emotions aside. We know where it's going to head, and that's why we're stacking, right? It's not like, oh, I hope it does. We know where it's heading, and it's heading downwards. So whether you want to call us, rebels or whatever, we're just looking at the facts. That's what investors do. Investors make strategic decisions based off information, and the information is showing us that everything's falling apart like every fiat system has and is designed to do, so we are taking account for that. So anyways, the stock market saw increased volatility till the election day because more and more investors began acquiring safe haven assets such as gold and silver. Investors took the financial risks, taking into account the race between Democrats and Republicans, and that could result in contested outcome. So obviously Joe Biden won. So I don't think a lot of people knew the extent. We all knew. I remember covering all the videos about how much he was going to be spending, but there were so many different waves of this quote unquote thing. I can't even say the word or the video will be suppressed. But we know, what I'm talking about. And with everything happening, more money needs to be put out. But then it doesn't stop there. Then you have the trillions of dollars for the Green New Deal, electric vehicles, which is actually starting to become even more influential on silver's price than solar panels itself. I covered a video or an article the other day showing the numbers about EVs. And by 2030, EVs are going to be booming. Every automobile company by the year 2030 is going to be an EV. And that itself is going to be massive for silver. So we're not just talking about a couple of years, silver's going to boom and then die down. This is decades to come. So let's look at the precious metals under previous presidencies. And by the way, the real point I'm making this video is because I really want to see over the next couple of years while Biden's still in office where silver's potential could go. We always talk about crazy silver prices. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're living in crazy times. If we were ever going to see $100 silver throughout history, right now would be the time that makes the most sense. What led silver to $50 in 2011? Nothing compared to this. Nothing. $1 billion stimulus back then. Now we have $1 trillion stimulus. Financial/credit crisis back then. Financial/credit crisis today. Recession/depression back then. Recession/depression today. But we also have a global situation on our hands. And an astronomically high demand for silver with the green energy revolution. So if that led silver to $50 back then, imagine what it could do today. So the gold price was valued at $890 when former President Obama took office in January 2009. Silver prices also jumped 3% during this time and reached $32 an ounce. The gold prices saw an 88% price growth by the end of its term, reaching $1,685. Silver saw a 2% decline and went down to $30 an ounce in 2012. See, this is right after the $50 silver stuff. So Obama's first term of presidency was extremely beneficial for precious metals markets, but it gradually became increasingly volatile during his second term. Despite being the ultimate safe haven asset, gold prices saw a significant decline of 28% between 2013 and 2017, from $1,685 to $1,195. Now, we can't blame this all on Obama, right? Regardless of who was in office, prices do kind of take on a life of its own from speculation alone, and it's a lot deeper than just the president. There's so many other factors in this. Apart from this volatility, Obama's overall presidency escalated gold's value by 34%. Moreover, One of his tenor success includes the gold price reaching an all-time high of $1,900 for the first time in the precious metals market. Precious metals also moved positively under Donald Trump's presidency. Gold priced at $1,200 in 2017. Precious metals market saw fresh all-time highs in gold's price as it reached over $2,000 per ounce under Trump's presidency. And then the situation and its economic impacts further led to a 54% increase in gold's value under the Republican leader's presidency. So Joe Biden's agenda in the precious metals market. So now things are going to get a little interesting. Let's see. Now that elections are over, and this article wasn't written too long ago. I know it sounds like it was, but February 5th, 2021. So, it's not, that wasn't that long ago. It's still relevant. So, now that the elections are over, the campaigning has ended, Joe Biden set to hold office. And by the way, yes, it wasn't written that long ago, but a lot has happened since then. The market is looking upon him to make good on the policy changes he promised. His actions and decisions will affect around 24 industries in the United States. While every sector's success during this tenure depends on what might rise to the top of his pan, it's crucial to analyze however policy change will impact the market. And we already see what those changes are doing and how they are affecting and impacting the market. The Biden presidency could be a blessing or a curse for the precious yellow and silver metals. I was always saying it's going to be a blessing because we know, since there's a direct correlation to the dollar index and precious metals, we know that throwing out all that money means you have to reprint those dollars, weakening the dollar, meaning that it's going to guarantee higher precious metals prices. According to the official Biden-Harris presidential transition website, the new administration currently has 4 priorities. These include tackling the situation, economic recovery, eradicating racial discrimination, and dealing with climate change. Here's how every step will impact the precious metals growth, investor interest, and prices during this presidency. And that's what I like about this article, because we kind of have we kind of have a jump on this, because this guy's talking about the plan, and we've already kind of seen what the plan is unfolding between us or before us and how it's affecting the prices. So it's almost better to read these types of articles afterwards to get, because you know more. So let's look at this. Fighting the situation. Now, the situation, no matter, it's so out of hand. The vaccines, right? You got to get the booster. I think some people are available for it already. Got to get that soon. But who knows? It's going to keep mutating. Who knows when or if it's possible to even get this whole thing, shut down. But regardless, money's going to have to thrown out that for the vaccines, etc., and just the fear alone, right? And that affects markets. That affects how people invest. The psychological approach to investing is very, very high. A lot of people overlook it. Actually, I think most people overlook that. You got to think about, so I took psychology in college. How you perceive things, your perception is everything, especially with investing, because investing is decision making. So if you're someone who's very finicky, anxious, very worrying, fearsome, doubt, always trying to, if you're someone like that, always finicky, catastrophic, worst case scenario, glass half empty, do you think you're going to have the same type of success as someone who's cool, calm, collect, very laid back, doesn't let the little things bother him? That type of investor, or the anxious, finicky type of investor? Which one do you think is going to be more successful? The cool, calm, and collect one. Because when people hear the day-to-day news, when they hear all of this stuff, it makes them act irrationally. That's why I always try to say, take the emotional attachment out, invest with your head, not your heart. So one of the reasons that might have costed Donald Trump senior citizen votes and ultimately a second term is his indecisiveness regarding the situation. He couldn't decide whether the government should fight or blah blah blah. We don't need. We already know that. I'm trying to find out about precious metals, not politics. So here's some stuff that we should look at, though. His development plan imply increasing government spending, mostly because he is determined to provide partial project funding of construction from reversal of his corporate tax cuts. Furthermore, labor market reformation is a noteworthy part of his economic recuperation agenda. So we see what he had good intentions, but I don't want to talk about politics. I don't even want to throw my opinion in that way, so I'm not going to. But here's where it goes into the points that I'm trying to say, though. So as a result, this economic plan could somewhat benefit precious metal prices and investors' interest in buying gold and silver bullion. Precious metals growth during the implementation of Biden's economic recovery plan also depends on the market participants. Gold prices may decline or struggle if investors contribute to the revival of infrastructure instead of cashing on the rising public debt. I do think that this situation has exposed the reality. This situation has exposed the United States, our financial system, how corrupt it is, how broke we really are. A lot of countries are opting out of the USD, which is very dangerous since the USD is the world's reserve currency. Everyone across the globe relies on the dollar strength, so that could be risky. And then we have the climate change. Obviously, this is going to be the gold mine for precious metals, or silver, pun intended. So it aims to invest green infrastructure and achieve a carbon pollution-free industrial sector by 2035. The goal is to reach net zero emissions throughout the American economy by 2050, and it looks like the entire globe is hopping on this, with China and everywhere else too, which means that's even more silver, because nothing is going to replace silver. They're learning how to cut down. I think they're saying they can try to cut down 52 milligrams of silver per solar panel. Right now, we're at around 300 milligrams. I think they might have got it to 150 milligrams. Their goal is 52 or something like that. But they are learning how to use less and less silver per solar panel. But that's not like it's going to hurt the price at all, especially when you have booming electric vehicles, silver lithium ion batteries, investor demand like you and I. I mean, just because they're learning to use less silver in that area doesn't mean that it's going to pick up in other areas. So this plan to deal with climate change indicates optimistic outcomes. However, an increased focus on environmental reforms could lead to increased private sector regulations and operations. Consequently, it could disrupt the country's economic growth, skyrocketing the gold and silver prices. A ballooning federal debt, plans for higher government spending, and a fresh stimulus are all indicators of value price growth, right? And that is what we've been seeing. But there is still a lot of back and forth, a lot of volatility, a lot of wishy-washy, and also what I keep saying, things haven't even started to kick into play yet. All of this is just starting to happen. Not even really the beginning yet. So what do you think over the next couple of years while he's still in office? I think a lot's going to happen. The next election after that could be the straw that broke the camel's back, or whatever the saying is, because we're setting up the perfect plan, and then I've always said this, right? I've been making silver stacking videos for 6 years on here, and I'm always like, one day everything we talk about is going to happen, and it's going to happen out of nowhere. It's going to be sudden. It's going to be dramatic. I remember it started with the U.S.-China trade war tensions, Saudi Arabian oil fields getting attacked, the U.S.-China trade war, and then it led right into the situation. Bam, that was it. But when that stuff happens, it takes years. Look at 2008 financial crisis. That led to $50 silver 3 years later in 2011. So yes, the big thing happened in 2008, but it took 3 years for the price to really hit its prime from that. Same thing would be happening today, but I do think this situation has sped up things times 10. Because even if that never happened, even if, you know, nothing would have happened and we didn't need vaccinations or any of that, I would still be sitting here telling you to buy silver. But nowadays, it's just going to come faster. So we have to be on our A game. We have to be on our P's and Q's, because things can drop fast with the blink of an eye, like the drop of a dime, and we are seeing that. Nobody would have expected American Eagles to cost as much as pandas within just a year, less than a year time frame. I mean, that's insane. American Eagles used to be coins sold at spot price. So yeah, we have to adjust and adapt. But moving forwards, I'm only going to see more and more and more things happening that are going to set silver apart from gold and take on a life of its own. And I'm curious where this heads, and it's all going to have the most influential poll from Joe Biden as he makes these decisions. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. I'm curious what you think about it. Where do you think the price of silver is going to be by the end of 2021? I definitely think $30 silver is reasonable, not $50. And if anyone is telling you $50, I probably wouldn't listen to them, because that's unrealistic in my opinion. $100 silver by next year, I think, is unrealistic in my opinion. $50 silver next year, definitely a possibility. But $100 silver, no. That's going to take three years minimum, in my opinion. And that's me being very humble about it. I'm not sitting here and saying, I know that silver's going to hit 100. No. I mean, it's a hedge against inflation. It's not like crypto. It's not supposed to be like crypto. It's based off fundamental supply and demand, and that's what makes it so safe. That's why we should invest into it, because you can't manipulate the price all of a sudden for the better or the worse, which is usually for the worse. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe. You don't want to miss my 50K giveaway. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.